Good evening, guys. I'm back. It's been a little while, but I've returned to answer the call, the YouTube call, because I feel like I am called back to, speak my truth and tell people my experience. And first of all, if you're watching this video for the first time, you haven't seen any of my other videos, I talk a lot about getting over alcohol and not drinking anymore and how much that has improved my life. Just about a few months sober now and feeling amazing because of it. And I really want to share that experience with everyone else and hopefully help them in their journey to get sober or maybe to stay sober. And what I've been thinking about tonight is, what ties into me coming back to this. I wasn't sure if I was going to keep talking about alcohol and giving it up and living the sober life, but I felt like I needed to come back because I have some things to say and I have to speak my truth. And if that can help someone, then it needs to be spoken about. I need to help people if I can. And that brought me to the feeling and the idea that we need to stop living small, in life. We all live too small in some kind of way. I know I did in a big way. I would never put myself out there on social media. I didn't want to post about things. I felt like I just wanted to have a private life, but I realize now that the underlying feeling there was that I didn't want to be judged. I didn't want to be judged by other people, and I just didn't want to deal with that. And it's not a big deal to not be on social media, but now I feel like it is something I'm called to do because I want to help people. And I don't want to play small anymore. I don't want to just live life in the shadows. We all have gifts that we need to give in the world. We need to share our gifts. And I don't know that, well, I do actually know, it is a gift in a way to having come out of being an alcoholic, and be able to share that, and hopefully that helps someone else to get out of their alcoholism or drug abuse or maybe whatever it is, because it's a horrible thing to deal with and it lessens your life on this earth. It lessens your quality of life and your relationships with other people and your whole life in general. I mean, I have so many regrets about my life that I lived while I was drinking all the time. I drank very heavily every day, a lot of strong beer. I was getting completely drunk every day, and I thought that that was a normal thing, and it's not. I, by the grace of God, I really attribute a strong part of asking God for help and finding God in my life and Him helping me to get through this and to get past the alcohol and do away with it and never need it again. I mean, now that I think about it, the way that I do think about it regularly now is it is miraculous. I just decided to give it up. I asked for help from God, and I was able to just give it up and not look back, not feel that, I needed it anymore, and I don't miss it. I gave it up, and I don't want to go back. I don't have the desire to drink again. Like, He took the desire away from me, and that is miraculous. And I would ask anyone, watching this that is dealing with drug or alcohols to, ask for help from God. ask for help, and you'll receive it. You have to do the work and you have to want it, but God will help you if you ask. You need to give yourself over to a higher power. I'm not familiar with the 12-step program, I believe it is. I forget how many steps it is, but I think it's 12. I've never done that, but apparently that is a part of getting to sobriety, is giving yourself over to a higher power. And it's absolutely true for me. And I feel like that is a major factor. I also had some other friends, that were an inspiration. I never talked to anyone directly about, wanting to quit alcohol. I definitely hid it, from other people. I hid my alcoholism in a big way, and I drank, in secret a lot of the time, to try and hide, how much I was really drinking, because I didn't want people to know that I was really drinking. In the, the fog of the alcohol, that I like to call it. I didn't care, though. I didn't think about what other people would think of me, like drinking like that. And looking back on that, that's a terrible thing, not caring about what other people would think of you, or your actions. You need to care in life, you need to respect the thoughts and the feelings of your family and friends, and you need to not hide things. And then that brings us back to, not playing small in life, sharing your gifts with people, whatever that may be. Right now, for me, it's sharing these, experiences, and hoping that someone can get at least a little bit out of that, and relate it to their own life and how that might be able to help them. And because I feel like I need to give back now, because it was such a gift given to me that I was able to quit and stay off alcohol. It's, again, only been a few months, but I feel like a completely different person. I feel like a new person. I just turned 40, and I feel like I've never been healthier. I've never been more fit. I've never been more clear in my mind. I've never been more passionate about the things that I love in life, being outdoors, going biking, like going for truck rides, all of the stuff in life that I love doing, being with my family, my kids. It's just, life is so much more joyful when you are not giving yourself over to the fake joy that you get with alcohol. It's a fake joy, it's not real. It's a trick that is played on the neurotransmitters in your mind to make you think like this is a wonderful feeling and this is a beneficial thing in your life, and you're having more fun, and you're loving people more, and you're a more fun person. It's all a trick, and it's all a lie. And the alcohol allows you to tell yourself those lies and like truly believe them. And that's the danger, is that you lie to yourself, and you're able to continue to lie to yourself, and that spills over into other people. I was not lying directly, to people. I wasn't lying to their face, but I was lying by omission, not telling people, sneaking drinks when people were not watching me, and just being a degenerate, being a degenerate drinker. And I chuckle, but it was horrible, I was being someone that I wouldn't respect, and it's a tough thing to admit, being someone that you wouldn't respect. With a sober, clear mind, you wouldn't respect someone that does that, and that was you. That was me. And so here I am, talking about how that was a horrible way to live life and how amazing it is to be outside of that and feeling like I am my true self again. I'm living my true life. Alcohol had been a part of my life since, out of high school when I really started, in a regular and heavy way. So it's scary to think the impact that it has on people's lives. And of course I think about how, life could have been without it. If I never would have really gotten into it that much, what more I could have accomplished. I don't truly dwell on any regrets in life, because now I just am so grateful for the life that I live now. I have 2 beautiful children and a beautiful, loving wife, and that's who I live for, which was the main reason I was able to, kick the drinking, or helped me kick the drinking, is my why. The why to quit drinking. You need to have a strong one to really, get it done. And I did. My family is everything. The love of my life and my children are everything to me, and always will be. And I'm just so grateful now for God blessing me and giving me the ability to give it up. I don't do any other drugs. Caffeine is a drug, so I do drink coffee, and that I find is beneficial in my life. Something I've also, had to readjust my relationship with. I was drinking a lot of coffee throughout certain days, and it was just too much. I know it was affecting my sleep, even though, I didn't think it was. But caffeine, if you didn't know, has a half-life of 10 to 12 hours. So you really need to stop drinking caffeine by noontime if you go to bed at 10 or beforehand. Because if not, caffeine is still in your system and it is affecting your sleep, even if you don't feel like it, which I didn't, because I felt like I could just get to sleep no problem. And I could. So I didn't think it was affecting my sleep, but it was affecting the quality of my sleep. And I have noticed a big difference by switching to, finishing my caffeine before noontime, not having any more. And it's pretty crazy, actually, especially experimenting with going off of caffeine, off of coffee for a couple of days and experiencing brutal headaches. And I never thought that, because I never get headaches, so I never thought that would happen to me, right? I'm not going to get headaches if I can go with coffee, it's fine. But no, it was not fine. It was brutal, and it sucked for a couple of days, really bad headaches, and just feeling so fatigued. I was relying on coffee to give me energy in the morning and throughout the day, and I was just drinking too much. And it makes you realize how dependent you are on it when you go a couple days without it, if you've been, drinking quite a bit of it. So I would also, just caution people about caffeine use as well in coffee, and getting a handle on that, and, not drinking more than 2 or 3 cups, and keeping it, before noontime. And you gotta drink water and electrolytes as well with it. So a little sidebar here about coffee and staying hydrated, because coffee does dehydrate you, and you really need some either pink salt or sea salt in your water, especially first thing in the morning is really good to help hydrate you, especially if you're going to drink coffee. It's really good to get some real hydration in first thing in the morning, before coffee is really really important to stay hydrated, and you'll just feel better on that as well. Like you will feel more energized if you're properly hydrated, like more so. The caffeine helps, but it's not as helpful if you're not hydrated properly. So you need to like take care of that first. So yeah, getting back to the main message of this one, don't live small. Don't live small anymore. Share your gifts. Say what you want to say to people. Live your truth, because that is what life is all about. Like, tell the people that you love them on a regular basis. Let them know that. Say the things that you don't really want to say, that are uncomfortable to say. Like, live your truth and live in your truth. Say what is on your mind. Don't live small, because life is too short. Life is way too short, and your life will be better and you'll be less stressed if you just say the things that are on your mind, be truthful, tell people the truth, and yeah, say, like, live your truth. Say what's on your mind. Let people know how you're feeling, and your relationships will improve, and your life will improve. Your stress will lower. Everything on the other side of like really loving or living your truth is a beautiful thing in life. And once you feel that, and that there's like what were you fearful about in terms of like not saying what you wanted to say? What is the real fear, like, when you get down to it? A lot of it is like, the thing that I can think of is, you don't want to be judged. I was like a big people pleaser, I just am agreeable and want to just have people like me, but that's just dangerous, because you're not always being truthful, and you're not speaking your truth for fear of, someone like not liking you. So you end up becoming, so you don't just saying what people want to hear, what you think they want to hear. So that's my journey, and trying to live my truth more and speak my mind and stop playing small in life, because I think everything good in life comes from getting out of your comfort zone and not living small anymore. So I'll leave you with that. And thanks for watching if you got this far. And let me know if you have any questions, or if you need some help in your journey. I'm just here to talk about my experience and hopefully help people. And if you need some help, then let me know and ask me questions, and I'll answer them. So thanks a lot. Have a good night.